What's good? What's good? What's good, fans? Um, Voice of the Fans podcast. This is week 329 of this iteration of the Voice of the Fans podcast. Folks, I got exciting news for you guys right now. I think there's a heat wave in Seattle in February. At the end of February, Cleveland, I think there's a heat wave. Cleveland, it was over 55 today. How did you enjoy your day, Cleveland?
Oh wow! I went out to walk my dog at 4 o'clock in the morning. There was no crunch underneath my shoes. I looked up and the sun was out. I didn't have to turn the heat on in any of the rooms today. It was crazy.
My goodness, fans! I mean, this is what we're doing. This is what we do up here in the Northwest. It gets over 50 degrees, and we get excited. There's no precipitation on the ground. It's a glorious day up in the Northwest, fans. I tell you, if I haven't told you before, if you listen to the show, we got into this before. This is one of those days you could trick somebody if you get off the airport today at 8 o'clock and then you walk around and it's 60 degrees. You can really trick somebody if they get off the airport today. I mean, they better be gone by tomorrow or the next day, but they can really trick somebody in this little 24-hour period right here. But it's a glorious day up here in the Northwest. Hope all is well with you guys, you and your families. We got a lot to talk about tonight. The reverberations of the trade that was as it was discussed with Adam Silver at the NBA All Star Weekend. There's still reverberations about that trade. The Lakers did it again. I don't know how they did. I don't know how I can't even give Rob Pelinka any credit for this one. From everything that all the intel I got, I can't give Rob Pelinka any credit because he picked up the phone. That's all he did was picked up the phone, and then the conversation. Him and Nico had known each other for a little while, so there was Nico being Kobe's rep, Rob Pelinka being Kobe's agent at the time. They've had a relationship, so when he gets a call from Nico, it can go one or two ways. Are we just talking friends? Are we just talking about old stories, or is Luca on the blocks? Is Luca really on the block? Now, what general manager in the right mind, Cleveland, would not entertain Luka Doncic coming to their team? Is there a general manager in the NBA that wouldn't entertain that? You have to tell me.
Yeah. The Milwaukee Bucks said Luka for Giannis, and they said no thanks.
Well, see, I mean, you try to cheat the game now. You try to cheat the game. I think Denver's GM would say the same thing.
About the Joker? Yeah. There are some players. So when you start this statement out with what GM in their right mind wouldn't
no. So you narrowed it down. You slimmed it way down. I was just saying what GM wouldn't be interested in having that conversation. Slimmed it way down.
I said there's a couple. What GM? The ones that have marquee franchise players on their team.
Well,
that they're unwilling to.
Listen to this. I'm sure if that conversation with the Milwaukee Bucks started off with Chris Middleton and not Giannis Antetokounmpo, that conversation would have went a little further. Okay, that's all. That's the point I'm trying to make.
But why are you trying to make that point when you're talking about trading Luka Doncic? What you think we want from you, like Shaden Sharp and DeAndre Ayton? And
what did you get?
A first round and a second round. Where are you going with this?
You got the off-end. You got the off-end.
There are at least 7 teams that will say, "Oh, that sounds cool," but no, thank you. At least 7.
I know. No, you got to name a 7. You gave me Milwaukee for
Golden State's not trading Steph Curry for.
Okay, that's 4. That's 3.
Okay. Oklahoma City is not trading Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
That's 4.
Luka Doncic.
Obviously, the Lakers wouldn't trade.
Are not trading Anthony Edwards. Oh yeah, no, they're not. They're absolutely not going to do that.
Okay.
So, I mean, how much
do
we have to do with this?
That's 5. I'll give you one more and say the Lakers weren't going to trade. Well, no, the Lakers would have traded LeBron for Luka. I think the Lakers would have did that.
No, they weren't because he has a no trade clause in his contract. So they absolutely weren't going to do that. That's why he has the no trade clause in his contract.
Don't try to twist this, Cleveland, and try to make this sound like it was.
I'm not trying to twist it.
Makes some common sense.
Try to make it seem like everybody that in the NBA is gonna be like, ooh, yeah.
They actually would have took that phone call.
Clearly, that's not what happened.
Well, it wasn't out there for everybody to take the phone call. It wasn't,
but the phone calls that Nico initially made didn't go well. And that was kind of where he was like gauging the market.
And I'll take Anthony Davis.
Sorry, just to end your speculation, I'm 100% sure they're not trading Victor Wembanyama for Luka.
There you go. There's 7 right there.
Okay. So we got 25% of the league.
There's 7 right there. So you take after a couple phone calls don't go your way, you take Anthony Davis. That's you take the often injured Anthony Davis,
right? Is he not on the top 75?
Oh Does he miss? Has he played 75? Has he played 75 games in his career? I mean,
he played 75 games last year.
Okay, for the first time in his career, he played 75.
And I don't know if it's the first time in his career, but he didn't.
It's not often. You better cut it out. You better cut it out. You better cut it out. Yeah, you better cut it out. You know it's not often that he plays 75 games a year. Don't you try to get to twisting this up and try to make it like it's an even Steven deal now. Don't you start going there. Don't you try to twist this up now. Even so, you take Anthony Davis and Max Christie. When did he become a equalizer to equalize the deal out? Come on, man. You know, Nico. It's going to come out. Maybe Rob was going to expose some pictures that he took over the all over the summer holiday or something. Nico went to the championship game, got his team to the championship game, and was out there partying a little bit too much. Championship series, I mean, and then maybe he, was talking to the wrong people, and Rob got those pictures. Because why would you do that, man? What?
You do that because owners don't want to sign Luka Doncic to a supermax contract.
So they trade. They didn't even trade him to the Eastern Conference. They should have traded them back to Atlanta for Trae Young. They should have just reversed that trade. What do you think?
Yeah, Cameron. They don't have your type of mentality when it comes to these trades. They want something equivalent or as close to it as they can get.
Somebody who's sitting on the bench who missed the last 3 games, that's equivalent? The guy sitting on the bench missing the last 3 games. This is the guy you traded the top 7 player in the league for.
He's one of the 75 greatest players in the history of basketball.
Here you go. If I had my laugh track, if I had my laugh track, it wouldn't go off right now with you trying to explain. Oh, he's one of the top 75 players. Luka's one of the top 10 players in the league.
Trade him for Zion. I mean, again, this is not the type of trade where you can go like say, "Hey, Luka's on the market. What are you gonna give me for him?" It was never that way because then everyone gets involved. What is it that you don't understand about this basketball thing, Cameron?
No. What I don't understand. I understand that Miles Bridges went for 5 number 1 picks. Is that correct? I understand that Rudy Gobert went to Minnesota for 4 number 1 picks.
And those are all potential players in the future. Yeah, I didn't hear you say a top 7.
Oh my goodness gracious! Luka is a top 5. So you're gonna trade me a top 5 player for a top 75 player? That's not an equal trade.
No. Top 75 all time. Now I didn't say 75 today.
Oh my goodness!
I said 75 all time.
Well, let's let time go by and see if he falls off that Richter scale.
Okay.
Is Luka not one of the top 15 players of all time?
No.
Oh, you're crazy. You're sick in the head. You're
Wow.
sick.
I'm almost ready to walk off the show. Are you telling me that Luka Doncic is one of the top 15 greatest basketball players that's ever picked up a basketball in the history of basketball?
When Luka's career is
I don't
done,
want to talk to you anymore if you say yes.
when Luka's career is done,
Answer quick. I'm not Cameron. I'm not playing with you, dude. I'm not playing. If you answer yes, I'm inclined to walk off the show.
Cleveland, are you saying Luka Doncic, the generational talent that just ends up on the Lakers team, is not one of the top 15 players ever of all time? Is that what you want to say?
I am absolutely saying that. It's not even close.
Oh my goodness gracious! Where do I start with you? I mean, do we go right to the NFL season?
I don't know what's gotten into you today, my dude, man, but you need to take a look at the history of basketball, clearly. Luka Doncic is 25 years old. He went to the finals one time.
Oh, my goodness gracious. And he already eclipsed the career of your guy here, a top 75 player of all time. He eclipsed that immediately, without even winning a championship. Come on, Cleveland, cut it. I mean, Cleveland fans, I apologize to you guys. Cleveland got me all out of sorts right now.
Dude.
Cleveland got me all out of sorts right now.
So fast, and Luka's nowhere near it.
Nowhere near where?
Top 15 in the history of basketball.
We're gonna have to couch that one. We got that. We got conversation. By the time his career over, he will be top 15.
Oh, so you're projecting like 15 years down the road. You're not talking about right today.
By the time his career is over,
okay,
he will be.
Well, say that then. I think he's on a trajectory. This is how you answer that question, Cameron. I think he's on a trajectory to, once his career is finished in 2039, he will be one of the 15 greatest players you've ever seen.
He will be.
Totally agree to address the question.
And you understand that as well. And
okay.
you get for a top 15 player for
to say he's one of the 15 greatest players of all time right now, because that's not even remotely true.
By the time his career is over,
I've seen this where the interview that you did, Oscar Robertson's not on some people's top 20 with averaging a 30-point triple-double. You think Luka Doncic is better than Oscar Robertson?
Do I think Luka is better than Oscar Robertson?
Yeah.
In today's game, he is. Yes.
Oh! In today's game,
compared to the school teachers, Oscar, compared to the school teachers and flagmen that Oscar Robertson was playing against.
Then you let the fans know where you stand and why you're saying the things that you are, and that makes perfect total sense.
Of course,
you think Luka's better than Oscar Robertson? Okay, cool.
Yeah, we got that. We're clear there.
There's no need to argue back and forth about that. If that's kind of where you're at with things, sure.
So, what do you think of Luka last night?
I thought he was overwhelmed by the situation. He tried too hard, and he had a pretty good game. But hey, man, a lot of emotions going on. It's been a whirlwind 2.5 weeks, and it all kind of came out in the wash. He tried to do some things, probably a little bit more than he typically does. But
what up, fanboy? My bad. We here. What's up? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, fanboy. What's your thoughts on this Luka trade? What's your is Luka a top 15 player?
Yeah, we did read the chat as well, fat boy.
Yeah, we're here. You're in the house, fanboy. I see you. Cleveland got me out of sorts. I'm out of my script. But you think he pressed too hard? He was pressing yesterday, and so he just fell into triple double.
I think that if he could have, he would have put 50 on him and cursed them all out with 3 after 3 and time after time, and he just tried too hard to make that happen.
So just basically fell into a triple double.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not many players who could do that, but okay. I think this is Luka the best player that LeBron has played with?
No.
He's not better than Dwayne Wade?
No.
Is he better than Chris Bosh?
Possibly.
Is he better than
Kyrie Irving?
Kyrie Irving? He's not better than Kyrie Irving.
Not better than Kyrie Irving.
Not better than Kyrie Irving today, or Kyrie Irving 2000. What was that 18 year that they won the final?
Oh, clearly he's not better than that version of Kyrie Irving.
Okay. Luka's not better than Kyrie.
Wow, what's up with your love affair with Luka Doncic all of a sudden? Is this just today, or is this just like subject line? This is weird. Usually you're all about Kawhi and the Clippers and stuff, and today it's all about Luka. Crazy.
No, it just how did the arch nemesis just end up with this generational talent year after year after decade after decade?
Wasn't happy with how he conducted himself and didn't want to pay the $70 million a year it was going to cost to keep him.
So they send him to the Los Angeles Lakers.
So they sent him to the team that they could make a deal with secretly and quietly for a gem of a player.
For a gem of a player who's on the bench, who's off on the bench.
Didn't say he wasn't fragile. Didn't say he wasn't for G League.
So what are we talking about here?
But didn't Lucas miss 6 weeks?
Do we have a problem? Does Luka have a? Do we have a concern about Luka playing basketball? I mean, clearly Dallas has a concern about Luka and the hookah and the beer. Clearly they have a concern. But do most people?
You saw Michael Finley snatch the beer out of his hand last year, right?
They were in. They were going to the final.
No. That's a yes or no question. You saw Michael Finley snatch the beer out of his hand last year, right?
Yeah, I did. But
okay,
they're on the way to the finals.
Okay,
I can't have a beer. One beer.
You're not there, so you're not privy to how many beers that typically leads to. Why do you think, or what number that was? You just saw him snatch the beer out of his hand.
You think it was more than one beer? Oh, you think it was more than one?
I don't know.
Well, you think Luka was working on a 6-pack 15 minutes after the game?
Don't know. Do you know?
I mean,
why bring that up when you trade a player? You can bring up so many other things,
because they're stupid.
Worth ethic, and habit. Wow,
that's coming off of a finals appearance.
Yeah,
because it makes no sense. But here at Cleveland, they get a top 75 player. They get a top 75 player.
Whatever the case may be, Cameron, he's a Laker now, and you know how I embrace
now everything's washed. Now he got a clean slate. He got a clean slate down in LA.
He says they've awoken a beast in him, and plus now he practices with LeBron James and learns some different techniques on how to, preserve and prepare your body.
The whole reason I'm over here frantic and upset with Adam Silver. Adam Silver, if you would step up and be if you really want parity in the league, you reverse this trade.
No, he did. He stepped up and nixed the Williams trade. Sure did.
Oh, and you're okay with that. After you get Luka, a generational talent, you come on, Adam. That's the trade. You're a trade late, Adam. You're a trade late, Adam. That's the trade you nixed. A trade that wasn't made, that wasn't nixed, was Jimmy Butler going to the Golden State Warriors. Who Golden State Warriors has been on a 6-1. In their last 7 games since acquiring Jimmy. They won 4 straight games. The Warriors are in the AC. I think they fought their way to the AC, if I remember correctly. Can they push it higher to that? Will they get to the 6th seed and get out of the play-in tournament?
Not sure. A lot of chemistry still needs to be worked out. Kuminga's coming back, working him into the lineup with the other new additions. We'll see.
Yeah, they worked their way to the 8th seed. Dallas is a 9th seed. Sacramento's a 10th seed. And it's a drop off now. Last week, didn't I tell you, Cleveland? I told you in passing, but Coach Pop is going to be out the rest of this season. I told you that was a speculation last week, but it was confirmed this week. I should have went ahead and reported that myself. because the conversation I had with everybody from San Antonio was that Pop might not make it a year. So I was kind of, I can't say I was surprised when I hear it, but it was part of the conversation. But brought that to you guys last week. Jimmy Butler, I think we're here. We got Oklahoma City, who Cleveland doesn't. Cleveland, correct me if I'm wrong. You still don't believe in those guys, right? So you think they're gonna go? They're just gonna give up 20-point leads like they gave up to Minnesota the rest of the way, the rest of the season, or in the playoffs, or what? How do you think it's gonna go?
I don't think they'll make the NBA Finals.
You want to double down on that, or double down on that? You said that a little chesty.
No, not really.
You sure? I mean, I'm offering intent. Do you want to double down on that?
No, we already have you as saying that Oklahoma City is going to win the NBA Finals, so there's really no reason to double down and say that they won't make the Finals. You already have them making the Finals, so once they don't, I'll already collect.
Does speaking of the Finals, does Boston Celtics and Jason Tatum, are they underrated? Do you think?
A little bit, yeah. The way that they're kind of handling their business. I know that the Cleveland Cavaliers are, currently and presently the number 1 seed, but when you look at the Eastern Conference and kind of what's been taking place the last couple of weeks, there's really no reason to think that anyone other than the Boston Celtics are going to represent the Eastern Conference in the NBA Finals this year.
So the Cleveland Cavaliers going 48-10, 9-1 in their last 10. You don't think that's reason to doubt the Boston Celtics going to the finals again?
Now you want to throw that out there? I mean, if you feel confident about Donovan McNitt, Mitchell and Evan Mobley, and them, I'll go with that.
Here we go. What do you go?
I'll take Boston with the Eastern Conference. You can have the field. Are we good?
Let me see what Paulo do with his new shoes.
You have all the other 14 teams in the Eastern Conference, and the 7 that make the playoffs. I just need the 1.
Let me see what Paulo do with his new shoes. Let me see if that makes a difference.
Okay, cool. I'll give you a couple of weeks. Think on it. Kick it around.
What do you think about the Grizzlies coming back to beat the Suns in double overtime, 151-148?
Great effort, high scoring game. I'm sure it was quite exciting. I think we all realized that after the inner workings of that organization, that it's dysfunctional, and that Bradley Beal's no trade contract is something that no mega superstar will ever get again. I'm sorry. Let me repeat that. Someone that is not a mega superstar will ever get again. He's ruined that franchise. And they try to trade KD a year after trading for him. So yeah, it's bad. It's all bad over there. But the fact that the Memphis Grizzlies were able to be resilient and come back against that level of firepower and overtake them in overtime, good for them. Great.
Who's been more disappointing, the Suns with Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal? Neither one of them has had a injury, to write home out, to speak about. Neither one of them has an injury that's caused them to be out significant time. And they are 27-31. 2-8 of their last 10. Who's more disappointing? Them or the 76ers, who's 20-37 and 1-9 in their last 10? Who's more disappointing?
I would have to say probably the 76ers, even though a lot of that is due to injuries to Joel Embiid, but they had championship aspirations, legitimate. And I don't think the Phoenix Suns ever really had legitimate championship aspirations.
Well, that's fair. Yeah, and that's a good point there. But yeah, they signed. What's the number I heard the other day? In the next 2 years, they owe Paul George and um, your
Oh,
boy
$200
Embiid.
million.
Huh?
200 million.
Man, man, they're gonna owe. Joel is signed up. If he stuck around for the length of his contract, his last year, he's gonna make $79 million and won't play 80 games this season. But that's good. That's good living if you can get it, bro. Paul George decides to shut down his podcast recording for the season, and you think that's a good idea? He's a little late on that. What do you think?
No, that's a great idea. He no longer lives in Los Angeles. He lives in, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, at least playing there. So I can only imagine. I mean, you heard the Philadelphia fan at the Eagles game, what he said to uh, you know, the aforementioned, lady just, casually watching the game, rooting for another team. So, yeah, those Philly fans are not nice. So, yeah, it's probably a good idea to shut it down. And plus, what does he really have to say? Season's not going well, and he's not playing well. He's been hurt. I mean, what are we talking about here?
I mean, when we talk about NBA action from Cleveland, said, what do you have to say?
You don't really want to talk about NBA action when you're not even in the playoffs, man.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a good idea to shut it down. It can only get bad, right? Nothing good can come of that.
I mean, he says he want to shut it down and focus on the season, and give the fans what they've been waiting for, playoff victories.
Okay, sounds like a great speech. I don't know who it's directed towards. Nobody believes him, but it's fine.
Paul George is a cool guy, man. He's really cool.
He is the coolest. And Cameron, why is he so cool? Because he's got hundreds of millions of dollars. He's less than 35 years old. And hey, man, I'm just going to go out there and do the best that I can. And whatever happens, happens. But you already read the ledger, man. 200 million more is coming to me. Yeah. He understands how this whole thing works. He already had his battles against LeBron early in his career. He already tried to, partner with Kawhi. That was a complete, total failure. So everything else is just, man, we'll see what happens.
I hear him taking shots at Ballmer again.
It's not like he has like some super serious eye of the tiger or anything. He's just like, yeah, man, crazy life, man, Dude came right out of high school, got into all this, man. He's just been living it ever since. That's why he's so cool.
Pistons win 8 straight. What's that mean? Mean anything to you?
It means they've made an incredible stride since last year. Cade Cunningham evolving into an all-star, and them having a winning record and being relevant in the playoff picture.
There's 6 in the East. Can they hold that spot?
Sure. I can't see why not.
We talked about Jimmy. Who should be the face of the league, Cleveland?
It's too early to tell right now. I don't think the league actually has a face. So for now, the de facto is LeBron James.
Is he going to pass that right over to Luka?
He's going to pass it to somebody. I don't know if it's going to be Luka necessarily. I mean, it's kind of up for grabs. Someone needs to have it, though.
I mean, should it be Jason Tatum? Should it be Jaylen Brown coming off of Olympic win?
I don't think they're popular enough, and I don't think their game warrants or carries that type of weight.
Is it Wemby or Anthony Edwards?
I think it's kind of waiting in the wings. Remember, hoop is it's an American sport, so you start going to Joker. His English is so being the face of the league is a little bit hard. Luka, kind of same thing. It needs to be somebody that really resonates with American fans first and foremost.
And so Ant says he doesn't want it. He's waiting just for. Was he joking? Or he
Of
just
course he's joking.
just playing the cold?
Who doesn't want to be the face of the league?
He just said he want to go out there and kill catch.
Since Allen Iverson, who doesn't want to be the face?
Well, yes, since Allen Iverson, right? But you say the Minnesota Timberwolves aren't going to be. Would you say they're not going to make the playoffs?
No, they'll make the playoffs.
What did you say? I forgot what you said about the Timberwolves. You didn't believe in them. They're 32-27 now. They're in the 7th seed, a couple games behind the Clippers. Let's talk about the Clippers, or they're half a game behind the Clippers. We still don't know what we're getting out of Kawhi. They're 4-6 without Norman Powell, without their scoring punch. James Harden can James Harden. They're in the 6th seed now. That means they'll be playing, if they play Denver, if the playoffs were to start right away, they play Denver 3-6. Can James Harden get them a series win?
Oh boy, those are questions you have to answer. You're talking about the Los Angeles Clippers. You're much more informed than I am, and you have much more intimate involvement with that organization, coaching staff, ownership, players, etc. So that you have to answer those questions.
But I need the feedback, though. I need your feedback.
Your the answer for me is no. They're not going to win in the first round if they play the Denver Nuggets, and they're not going to get any better. From my perspective, now, if you have some, you have that intel from inside, insider information. So, what are your thoughts on it?
So, Martin
being like the second or third best big man in the West and stuff, and you understand my perspective once we get to this part of the season, and you start talking about like the absence of Norman Powell being the reason they win or lose.
Norman Powell's their leading scorer on the season.
My dude.
He's their leading scorer on the season.
At that point.
I'm not supposed to acknowledge the leading scorer.
I hear what you're saying. Norman Powell is the leading scorer for the Los Angeles Clippers. That's cool.
I don't know what you're laughing for. I mean,
what does that mean?
What does it mean if Anthony Edwards is a leading scorer for the Minnesota Timberwolves?
Markkanen is the leading scorer for the Utah Jazz. Everybody has a leading scorer. So what?
Oh my goodness gracious! So Zubac, you already don't like Zubac. I mean,
he's cool. I mean, he made it bad. I mean, he was kind of unfortunate that he was involved in that whole,
What? The Lakers traded him. They didn't see any value in him, and now they can't. Now they need a big man.
Once he did good, he probably should have came back, but he didn't.
Now they need a big man.
He was kind of hurt. His feelings was kind of hurt, so he stayed over there. I mean, it happens.
So I'm just saying, Kawhi, you're always taking shots at Kawhi. Kawhi gonna prove you wrong one of these years. You've been taking shots
one of these years.
You've been taking shots at Kawhi for the last 4 years.
So if not this year, next year, and if not next year, the year after that,
he could have proved you wrong.
One of these years. Oh boy, man, no, he's running out of years, dude.
He's gonna prove you wrong one of these years, man.
Okay.
One of the interesting conversations that came up during the All-Star weekend, we're going to put this to rest here, but would you be interested in a one-on-one competition, one-on-one tournament with NBA players?
Cam, I think that's a difficult format to kind of put together. Do you put together
what up, dude?
I mean, do you put together big and small? Do you put together, point guard versus point guard? I mean, I think it's a lot more goes into like who's going to be effective in a one-on-one format than just, marquee name recognition, so to speak. So I think that's kind of asking a lot. I know they did it in the WNBA, but I think that's a little bit easier to do. No disrespect to the ladies,
Why
but
is it easier to do then? Why is it? It's still ballers trying to ball. Why is it easier to do?
because they don't have 7-footers that can shoot from 30 feet, adverse like 6'2" point guards that can do 360 dunks. It's a completely different skill set, and the range is not nearly as dramatic as it is in the NBA.
I mean, Wemby gonna have to play KD at some point. Wemby gonna have to face Kyrie at some point.
Wemby versus Ja, what does that look like? Or Wemby, versus.
I'm just saying. That's what I mean. That's
yeah. So I mean, but how do you put the matchups together? I mean, do you just throw all the names in a hat and just pull them out
and start seeding them? Yeah.
I think there's a little bit more needs to go into the lab before they kind of figure out like how this whole thing would roll out, as opposed to just we should do that. So would like to hear a little bit more about the structure of it, is what I'm saying.
You want the structure?
Yeah, the structure of a one-on-one tournament.
You play to 11, and it's a tournament form. So you play on Friday, Saturday, and we had the championship on Sunday.
Okay.
That's not, or do you need 2 days in between games? Is that what you think the players need?
I need some structure with regards to who plays who. Are these like divisions or just loser out, double elimination? There's no structure to it.
No, you lose your out.
It's just kind of conceptual. And some people are cool with it, and some people are like, well, how will that possibly work? So maybe they make it, meeting of the minds. I think the popular one right now is the, USA versus the world. So I'm sure they'll go with that one first before the one-on-one stuff to add to the other carnival games that are the All-Star weekend. It's cool.
You said carnival games to the All-Star. So you don't think they're going to have the 3-point shooting contest?
No, that's always have that.
I mean, between the W and
3-point is going nowhere. Those will always be a part of it.
Between the WNBA players and NBA players and WNBA.
Yeah, WNBA players can't have a slam dunk contest because they don't dunk.
No, I'm talking about 3-point contests.
Well, Caitlin said no this year. I mean, so
Is that the end of it? Do we not go recruit somebody else, or we get somebody who says yes?
Who else are you going to recruit? They got Sabrina Ionescu last year. She put the fear of God in Steph Curry. He had to truly come through to win that one. And this next year, Caitlin said no thanks. So that's the two best shooters. It only gets worse from there, right?
I mean, Paige Beckers. There's somebody out there who can knock down some jumpers. I mean, they don't have to be one of those names. They can be somebody else just to compete. If they want to come out and compete, I'll be on your side. Let's see. So the Mavericks, I think, are AC right now. See what happened. Clippers just beat up on Chicago tonight. So good job. Good job, Clippers.
Good win.
So yeah, the Mavericks are right now 31-28. Right now they're the 9 seed. I mean, does AD come back and help them get out of the play-in tournament, or what are we looking at?
I mean, the West is very stacked at the bottom, so maybe not. I think
So the guy
still have an opportunity to come back.
So the guy, you hate Luka that much, you trade him for somebody who's not even playing with you, not even playing for you, and you guys are just sinking in the rankings, in the ratings. Buffoonish move by that organization. So let's talk about some NFL topics, some interesting topics going on right now. Well, obviously we got the draft coming up. Players are going through the Senior Bowl was this past weekend. Players are going through their draft combine. Which players, Cleveland, who is the best talent coming out of college that you identify? Is it the edge rusher out of Penn State, The running backs. Who's the best talent that you identified coming out of college?
Best talent is Travis Hunter.
I think I just, unfortunately I think it's a great story. Travis Hunter is overrated. He's gonna be overrated. I'll be eager to see what he does, but he's not Justin Jefferson at the receiver spot. That is not. And then he's not what is it, Cromartie? Anthony Cromartie? He's not him either. I mean,
Who's Anthony Cromartie?
who played for the Jets? What Cromartie played for the Jets? That's what I was trying to think of. Got a whatever. I don't know that he's going to be a top cornerback or a top receiver in the league. Convince me I'm wrong.
He'll be a top cornerback in the league, and he'll be involved in enough offensive packages that he can certainly put pressure on the defense.
Antonio Cromartie, that's what I was thinking about. You think he's going to be a top cornerback in the NFL?
I think so.
At 5'7", 5'8", I don't see it, man. These guys are just receivers.
It's not 5'7" or 5'8", and I'm so sorry. You remember who his head coach was?
Head coach can't get out there and play for him.
It's a head coach that knew a little bit about playing the defensive back position.
Okay, he can't get out there and play for him.
The greatest cornerback in the history of the NFL.
And again,
so yeah, I think he can be a top 5 cornerback in the league.
I don't see it. I'm a little skeptical. I don't know that he's big enough. Like, he made some great plays in college. That was college. I'm not sure that he's going to be that game breaker in the NFL on either side of the ball. I'm not convinced. I'm not the Heisman Trophy winner, Doak Walker winner, get all that crap. That was in college. We're talking about going to the NFL. I'm not sure that he measure up, regardless who his coach is. I was trying to look at how Wolves' the size. I mean, he's not 6'2", so he doesn't have that size working for him on either side of the ball. So I know receivers these days, Cleveland, you know this, are coming out 6'2", 6'4", 6'5". I mean, how is he going to compete with that?
Guess we'll just have to see.
Yeah, yes. 6'1", that might be a little ambitious. But I mean, it's not.
He looked up his measurements and it wasn't 5'7", it was 6'1"?
6'1", 185.
Okay. Well, that's half a foot off, Cam.
Ain't no half a foot off.
Yeah, it's 6 inches off.
It's a few inches off.
6'1".
That's what it says, 6'1", Cleveland. Does it?
Okay, but he's really 5'7".
I mean, he might be 5'10".
He looks 5'7".
I mean, he might be 5'10". Who knows?
Well, you know what?
Who knows?
He's about to get to the combine or the pro day, and they do all the measurements in their socks on flat ground. So
I'm just saying. You truthfully, you think he's going to be a top cornerback in the NFL?
I do.
Top cornerback and a top receiver. I give him a better chance of receiver.
No, because he's not going to have enough time to learn. I mean, that's going to be the problem. Why you can't play both ways, right? This is too much information. He's going to have certain packages that he can, he'll probably learn a third of the offense. He'll learn 100% of the defense. You can't learn 100% of both sides of the ball. So that's why he's not playing both ways. But yeah, I think he's going to be a legitimate cornerback. Top 5, maybe a little ambitious, but I think that's not above the ceiling.
Now it'll be interesting. I'm not that high on the dude. I'm not that high on the dude. We'll see how things work out. Um, do you think the season that Saquon and Derrick Henry had this past season will convince teams that having a running back on your team is not bad, not a bad scheme, not a bad plan, and actually draft some running backs this year?
I think some teams are going to fall for fool's gold and kind of reach a little bit for some running backs that are not nearly the caliber of Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley, and they're going to be very disappointed.
Who are you thinking about? It sounds like you got somebody in your mind specifically.
No, I mean I saw what the dude at Boise State was doing, and then I saw him kind of in the not the bowl games, but the playoffs. It's like started playing players a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, a little bit faster, and like all that we were talking about. Like, ooh, he's the next Barry Sanders. It all went out the window.
In that first game, didn't he have a couple hundred yards in that first game? And then the second game, they kind of got swallowed up. They were kind of overmatched. The whole team was overmatched, not just him.
I don't remember Boise State winning a game.
Okay, you remember? So you think they're gonna draft too high? He's gonna go too high?
It's gonna go a little bit too high. Yeah.
Ooh, interesting. So have you heard all this Stafford talk? When you get Sean McVay come on the microphone and say, "Yeah, we really want him, but he got a number, we got a number, and they just might not match up." Stafford looking at making 27 next year. The Rams don't want to pay him that. Now Sean McVay has proven that he'll move on from somebody if he sees an opportunity. Do you expect Stafford to move on, not be a Rams quarterback next season?
Nah, they'll figure something out.
Oh, they'll figure something out. They gave the agents allowed to seek a better offer. He met with the Jets and the Giants, the Raiders, and I'm not making this up, Cleveland. But even the Dolphins are having conversations. Would you trade Tua for Matthew Stafford?
If I'm the Rams,
well, I know if the Rams you would, but if you're the Dolphins, would you trade Tua for Matthew Stafford?
Well, no.
I mean, you said it pretty quickly. You got to kind of consider that if you're the Dolphins. You get a legit quarterback that's durable for the most part, who plays through injury, and a quarterback that you have can't seemingly get the job done. You gotta, if I'm the Dolphins, I gotta entertain that. I gotta entertain that. He's coming at half the price, half the cost. Now it's only going to last a couple seasons. We do know that because he's a 37-year-old quarterback. But I actually got to sleep on that one. Stafford for Tua, like that's something that you got to legitimately talk about. Now, obviously, if you're the Rams, yes, you get a younger quarterback. With Tua's 25 versus Stafford being 37, yeah, you get a younger quarterback, and that's all you're looking for. And you're playing indoors in Los Angeles with the sun shines every day. Obviously, you
just keep just keep talking this thing up, right? Like you keep showing the disproportion of what it is that you're talking about. Yeah, and you're running Sean McVay's offense.
I'm saying you make that happen. I mean, if I'm a Dolphin fan,
promise you, the Rams are like, would you really do that?
That's like that. Yeah, that's like Nico talking to Pelinka or Pelinka talking to Nico. Is that something that you really consider?
It's not the same because they went over all the things, all of the issues. Like, come on, man. Just like Shams had to come on and say, like, no.
Who fit in there?
This is no hoax. My phone hasn't gotten hacked. I really am sending this.
Hookah and beer get you shipped out of Dallas, huh? I mean,
What's that?
Hookah and beer get you shipped right out of Dallas, huh?
I don't know. It couldn't be all. No, it's ownership. It's ownership, man. There's a bunch of stuff you don't know. Yeah.
So they must have really. So what you call it? They must have gave your guy what's the former owner Cuban. They must have gave him some dough and just say sit over there in the corner. Just you get your season tickets. Just sit in the corner. Don't sit. You have nothing to do here anymore. Because Cuban wouldn't have made that move.
No, and at the 11th hour, he tried to stop it from happening. Once he found out what was going on, yeah, for sure.
But yeah, Stafford for Tua.
Yeah,
I'm listening to that deal. I'm gonna see if can we get some picks out of there.
Anytime you want to sign, anywhere you want to go, I will meet you anywhere you want to go.
No, I might need a couple number one picks.
Oh, I know how Cameron gets down. Yeah. Kyron Williams too, huh? And Nakua in the deal.
No, I'm not. I take Kyron Williams. I will take him.
Okay, sure.
And one number one.
Okay, cool. For a 37-year-old quarterback. Okay, nice.
No. I'm getting the 37-year-old quarterback. You're getting a young guy who has a career ahead of him. You know, let some people.
Hey, it's all water under the bridge, Cameron. That's not happening. But yeah, if you're the Rams, you pull the trigger on that deal for sure.
So, would you rather have Aaron Rodgers or Matthew Stafford?
Matthew Stafford.
What if I told you Aaron Rodgers comes with Devontae Adams?
Nope. Tried that already. How many times do you pair them together, man? Like moving them around.
Did you just call Devontae Adams used?
No.
Rubber,
how many times are you going to pair them together and move them around? They're not a couple.
They only been together twice in New York and Green Bay, right?
Yeah, and this would be a third location.
Ooh.
That's a lot in the NFL.
So you're not interested in Aaron Rodgers and the Aaron Rodgers Devontae Adams connection, huh? Is T. Higgins? What's the best place for T. Higgins? I think we talked about this already.
Yeah, Cincinnati Bengals.
I mean, Cleveland, they're in the same situation the Dolphins are in, where they can't pay both receivers $30 million. I told you last year the Dolphins, that wasn't sustainable for Miami to pay both of those receivers $30 million and have a quarterback to make it $50 million. That's not sustainable. They're going to have to trade one of those receivers in Miami. I trade Hill. You thought I was crazy last year for bringing that up before the beginning of the season. I told you I would have traded him at the beginning of the season, but for Debo, or no, that would have been for the other receiver, Brandon Ayuk. I would have made that trade. But now, I think the Dolphins still should get rid of Tyreek Hill, because they just can't afford. They're $20 million already over the salary cap. Get rid of him. Go get some linemen. Trade for some linemen if you can. Tyreek Hill is a luxury, and right now the Dolphins don't have the infrastructure to afford that luxury. You still think I'm crazy for making that statement?
No, I like that logic. It's 2 years later. I always tell you that football players age in dog years, and yeah, but the year before that, he was the number one player in the NFL.
That was last season. That was going into last season.
Voted on by the NFL players. So yeah, you do have to have the right stuff around him. He is an iguana. It has to be like a, perfect set of circumstances, and you do need a quarterback that's upright and healthy. to get the highest and best use out of him. So, yeah.
If you were, let's say you're the Seahawks, who are you most interested in? Myles Garrett or Deebo Samuels?
Myles Garrett.
What do you give up for Myles Garrett?
Don't know what the asking price is.
Well, you got to make an offer.
No,
you can't wait till Cincinnati makes their offer. You got to make an offer.
No, they have a number in mind. So when you call, you're like, "Hey, what are you looking for?" If it's three first picks, can't help you.
They say they're not interested in trading them.
Okay. Well, they're not going to come with the Count of Monte Cristo deal for Myles Garrett, but they'll give up a certain amount. But again, they already have Leonard Williams and a lot of other areas of need, so I don't think that Myles Garrett is necessarily someone they're coveting. But if they can figure out a way to make it work underneath the salary cap, then great. But yes, they're not going to get too crazy with it.
Can I interest you in Deebo Samuels?
No, we have one of those already. Thanks. Younger.
You have who? You have who?
A physical specimen, a guy named DK Metcalf.
Oh my goodness gracious! So you're gonna run with the same trio again? Tyler Lockett and Jackson Smith.
Seriously doubt Tyler Lockett's coming back.
Ooh. You guys didn't show him the curb, did you? You didn't kick Tyler Lockett to the curb, did you?
No, not yet, but things aren't going well.
Oh, you're not gonna meet his price? You already told him we're not gonna meet your price? You might want to look elsewhere.
Word on the street is that they are pretty far apart. They're gonna come back together fairly soon because the decision has to be made fairly soon. I think it's March 10th is the deadline, so we'll talk some more. But the impression that I get, and again, word on the street is they're not close.
Who will end up being the Steelers quarterback next year?
Ooh,
so you're running Russell Wilson off into the Raiders. It looks like Justin Fields. I mean, do you even talk to Justin Fields? You and does your guy Tomlin and Justin Fields even talk anymore?
No. So
he cut off after the season. He cut off all connection with Justin Fields.
They text back and forth once in a blue moon, once and again. But it's not like constant conversation or anything. No.
So is he helping him find his landing spot or no? Justin Fields is on his own.
He's on his own. I mean, it's up to Steelers brass to decide if they want to retain him. But if Mike Tomlin had to say or some influence, which he does, the answer is probably no.
Does Aaron Rodgers end up with the Steelers? They've been making googly eyes at each other for a couple of years now.
They have never been making googly eyes at each other.
So who do you have? They're going to draft a quarterback? I mean, they're not in a draft quarterback position.
Have no idea what they're going to do, Cam. It is one of the biggest wild cards out there right now.
Wow. Cleveland, what do you think about the NFLPA report cards? You give any thought to these report cards? Before you answer the question, the last 2 years, for the second straight year, the Miami Dolphins and Minnesota Vikings finished 1 and 2 in overall team rankings. Dolphins got a whopping A+ grade in 11 categories, including head coach, ownership, food, dining area, nutrition, dietitian, locker rooms, strength coaches, and team travel. Miami received an A grade in 3 other categories: training room, training staff, and treatment of families. Their worst ranking of any individual category was 6 overall as the head coach. Did the Miami Dolphins make the Cleveland playoff last year, Cleveland?
They did not.
Okay, we're gonna pull back on some of this amenities that you're offering there, Ross. Um, I understand the investment in the stadium. I understand the investment in travel, but for guys who's not making the playoffs, um, what does this mean to you? So here, I'm gonna give you the top report cards on Dolphins, Vikings, Falcons, Raiders, and Chargers. Who made the playoffs? The Chargers made the playoffs. The Ravens or the Vikings made the playoffs. These other guys, I don't know if I care for these rankings. In ownership, the ones who get A plus in ownership, let's look at them. The Dolphins, obviously, the Falcons, the Vikings, the Broncos, and the Chargers. Who failed in this category? Who got a D in this category? In ownership, the Steelers got a D. Patriots with Robert Kraft got a D. Um, that's the kind of surprising the Patriots get a D. The Cardinals got a D minus. The Panthers get a D minus, and your New York Jets got an F. Cleveland. Yeah, that's kind of surprising that the Patriots got an F. That's surprising to you? Bob Kraft ranked 28 of 32 owners um, in terms of perceived willingness to invest in facilities, and 30th in both contributing to a positive team culture and commitment to building competitive team. That's kind of surprising, is it not?
No,
You don't
no,
think so?
not really.
Who had the best grades as a head coach? Would you say there's one, two, three, four, five, six
I,
that
I, I have no idea the criteria that they use or who came out on top. I mean,
that's a fair point. That's a
it's a
fair
very
point.
speculative, list. So,
The Commanders had A plus, Falcons had an A plus, Vikings had an A plus, Chiefs had an A plus, Lions had an A plus, and the Dolphins had an A plus. And I totally disagree with that. You've heard me throughout the season say multiple times that the Dolphins coach were being out coached. You can't win because you have your quarterback goes down. Like we've seen Minnesota do that with multiple quarterbacks go down and they keep winning. We've seen the 49ers do that. Quarterback goes down, they keep winning. Our quarterback goes down, we lose 4 games straight. We go 1-4 actually. So I disagree with that one. The coaches that they got the worst grade, Cleveland. You want to take a guess at those coaches?
no, go right ahead.
Your Chicago Bears got a C. Your Jacksonville Jaguars got a C, and your Cleveland Browns got a C. Um, the Browns were only 2 slots above your Baltimore Ravens and Buffalo Bills, who were great teams throughout the season. That's interesting. Interesting there. Team travel. I don't care about the team travel. What other category? Locker room grades. Locker room grades. Who has the worst locker room, Cleveland, in the NFL?
The Cincinnati Bengals.
We hear that a lot, but they got an A plus on their rank on their score. The Arizona Cardinals, the Cleveland Browns, the Denver Broncos, and your Washington Redskins or your Commanders were fourth. They all got Fs. The Commanders, Broncos, Browns, and Cardinals all got Fs. Where the Browns and Cardinals got F minus. I'm gonna go back to the top one here, and I just want to look at the Super Bowl winners. Let me just look at the Super Bowl winner. When you look at the report cards of all the teams, Eagles were at 22. Who they played? The Chiefs were at 26. So it tells you that there's some fluff in this report, right? Um, Head coaches, the Chiefs were 4, and the Eagles were where are they at? Back here at what? 15. They're actually at 17, and those are teams that have won. So having a top scorer clearly means nothing to the success of your team. Having a top scorer, in the locker room grades. The Dolphins are 4, but the Eagles are way down here at 16, and the Chiefs are 3 slots below. So at 19, the Chiefs are. So yeah, so we can throw these numbers out. I can stop reviewing that one. You get anything from those reports, or that's just somebody doing some busy work?
The thing that I got out of this report is that there is no correlation between how billionaires spend their money with regards to the facilities and Super Bowl wins.
Yeah, yeah, facts. It's all factual right there. Um, all right, Cleveland. Although we didn't play our numbers game at the beginning of the show, we're gonna give you this week in history. Starting February 24th, 1864, Rebecca Lee Crumpler becomes the first black woman to receive a medical degree, an MD degree. She graduated from New England Female Medical College in 1864. Cleveland. 218 1867, Morehouse College was founded originally in Augusta, Georgia, as the Augusta Institute before moving to Atlanta in 1879. On 225, Cleveland, 1870, Herman R. Revels of Mississippi sworn in, as the first black U.S. senator and the first black representative of Congress. Excuse me. 2026, 1996, President Lyndon B. Johnson allows or appoints Andrew Bremer as the first African American governor of the Federal Reserve Board. 215, 1968, Cleveland, Henry Lewis became the conductor and musical director of the New Jersey Symphony, becoming the first African American to lead a major symphony. Cleveland, 223, 1979, Frank E. Peterson Jr. was named the first black general of the Marine Corps. 228, 1986, Cleveland, a guy won 8 Grammys for his critical and commercially successful album. Um, who was that guy, Cleveland? 1986.
86, that was Michael Jackson and Thriller.
Michael Jackson and Thriller, exactly. Which remains one of the top grossing albums of all time. How many times have you bought Thriller?
3.
You bought it 3 times?
Mm-hmm.
2000 or I bought it once actually and dubbed the rest of them. Um, February 28th or 27th, 1988, figure skater wins a bronze medal for and becomes the first black woman to win a medal at the Winter Olympics. Who was that, Cleveland?
It's Debbie Thomas.
Good one. February 26th, 1964. This boxer changed his name after converting to Islam, stating, I believe in the religion of Islam, and I believe Allah in peace. I'm not a Christian no more." What was this boxer's former name and new name, Cleveland?
That would be when Cassius Clay changed his name to Muhammad Ali.
That's absolutely correct. And speaking of boxing, Cleveland, we had some great Saudi card this weekend. Did you find time to watch the fights?
Yep.
Now, Cleveland, how you gonna be? Excuse me, Cleveland. You gotta delete somebody out the chat. You're banned. You're banned. Speaking of the boxing, Cleveland, Dmitry Bivol faced Arturo Benavidez in a rematch, and Bivol dominated this fight, Cleveland. Well, now we're set things up for the trilogy. Or will you watch the trilogy? Since you missed this fight.
Not sure. We'll see.
Fans, if you're a boxing fan and you care to talk about boxing, send me an email or hit me up on Twitter @_ voice of the fans @_ voice of the fans. Now, I need somebody to talk boxing with. Um, Cleveland has no interest in boxing. I don't know what's going on.
I mean, but check out where we're going here. You didn't watch the first fight, so you didn't realize how badly Bivol got robbed. But you watched the second fight, and he barely. I think one of the cards was like by a point, right?
That card was BS because
the fight wasn't that close, was it? I
it
didn't even
was
watch that.
it was 7-5. I had a 7-5. That was my score. Was 75, 7-5. He beat the champion. To beat a champion, you got to beat the champion. And he beat him.
And
he beat him
from the last time. So
I didn't see that. I didn't see it the last time. I
So,
saw highlights, but that didn't like watching
one fight.
Hold on. Let's time out. Can you watch? Can you rewatch a sporting event? Like if you know the Seahawks played at 1 o'clock, if you know the Seahawks played at 1 o'clock, and you know by the time you get home it's 4:30, can you rewatch that game even though you taped it and you don't know the score? Can you watch that game?
Ironically, boxing is one of the one sports I can do that. Football, basketball, not so much. Like when they show classics and like I've already seen it like since I was 12. It's like it's very uneventful, right? Like I know
there's only a few games I would rewatch. Like I would rewatch that 92 All-Star game. I would rewatch Kobe going for 81. I mean, I will watch one of those 96 games.
Those are like highlight kind of games. I mean, no, like more serious type of games. I can watch them to a point, but again, it's like if you've seen it, it's like you already like know the plays and you remember like this shot or whatever, and so it's like,
I watched the highlights. Yeah, right.
For example, I can watch Hagler and Hearns right now 10 times in a row. That's a fight.
Well, okay, that's Hagler Hearns. That's the upper echelon.
I can watch Muhammad Ali and George Foreman like 10 times in a row right now. It depends on like a fight. I can do that because it's a fight.
But you missed the fight over the weekend for the light heavyweight champion.
It's fixed. I saw the first fight.
I believe I would listen to you more. I would listen to you more if Benavidez won again. But the fact that Benavidez didn't win, and you could say
it's because there was such an outcry from the last time. They had to be a little bit more fair this time. And Bivol did enough to like, okay, he probably did the exact same thing he did the last fight. Except they just scored it right. So now they're going to the third fight, and guess who's not going to win? Bivol. Because it's not in their interest to do
I think there's a couple. With boxing, it's not like, it's not like the rewatching when LeBron brought to Cleveland back against Golden State. What year was that? 2016, maybe 2016, 17. With boxing is different because now for the third fight, like Bivol, if they fought in September, that would still be a fair fight. But if they wait until this time next year to fight, now Dimitri.
What's the definition of a fair fight? What do you mean a fair fight?
Listen to what I'm saying. If they fought in 6 months, I think that's a fair fight because Arturo Benavidez doesn't get a full year older. He already looked like he was a target in this fight. If they waited a year, let's say, if they waited 12 months or if they waited 16 months, now Bivol, who was a younger fighter, comes in. He was dancing most of the early fight. Now, if they fought in 12 months or 16 months, Benavidez is that much older. So the trilogy, they do fight 3 times, but it's not everything isn't weighed equally throughout the 3 fights. You follow what I'm saying? Like there was the first fight, and you say one guy won the judges said the other guy won. They fought a second time. Okay, cool. They fought a second time within 6 months. That really doesn't happen. So 6 months, you really don't get old. You like to say athletes age in dog years. Well,
football players
age in dog years. Well, he hasn't gotten that old. But now he makes him wait a year. Now he's a year older. And now Bivol could have a distinct advantage over Better BF in the next fight. So they fight 3 times, yes, but every fight was not equal, if you understand what I'm saying. Booth said he can watch the classic games are easy to watch. Man, sometimes, man, if I know the outcome, if I know the outcome, if I know the outcome,
you want to revisit, like, and kind of see if your memory is kind of how you. Yeah, exactly. Like 45 minutes, right?
Yeah, so, a fight is that 39 minutes.
Sometimes you want to see those old games to see if it, if your memory is the same, now as it was, when you watched it the first time. I mean, there's certainly a lot of that.
Yeah, a fight's not going on an hour.
Yeah.
There's 3-minute rounds. There are 12-minute rounds now. So when there were 15-minute rounds, it was 45 minutes at the longest. So it's only, a fight's not going an hour. But I was more talking about when I asked that question, Boots, I was more talking about if you find a score of for instance, the Lakers Mavericks game last night, can you turn that game on and rewatch it? Like if you get home, if you have it recorded, can you get home and press play?
The more recent it is, the less inclined I am to do that. Like there's absolutely no way. Like for example, NBA TV shows those games like marquee matchup of the week or whatever. It's zero interest in watching.
Me neither. Yeah, I can't. I mean,
but that first time LeBron went back to Cleveland, oh boy, I can watch that. I mean, they're game 6 at Dallas in Miami. Yeah, I can watch that. I mean, it kind of depends on it.
Numbers mess us all up sometimes, Boots. It's good.
We're good.
You're good. No, I just can't. I mean, obviously I watched the Dolphins beat up the Bears, that 85 Bears team.
Watch that over and over again, right?
I can watch that a few different times. But you're right. The more recent, that's a good way to put it. The more recent the game is, I can't come on and turn it on and rewatch a game, especially if I know the score. Like I missed a game, and that's what I'm saying with that fight. I missed the fight. Now I watched some highlights and listened to the post-fight interviews, but it wasn't the same as watching the full fight. So that's one you got me on there. You finally got me on that, but you missed Shakur Stevenson defend his WBC World Lightweight Championship. You missed that. A fight that was on Saturday. It wasn't too late in the day. It was right in the middle of the afternoon, which was kind of weird. It was like he came on. It was 12 or 1 o'clock. You missed that. You missed Shakur. Shakur, who I think is one of the best boxers in the world today. You missed that guy because were you washing dishes or you had to clip the dog's toenails or what? What was you doing on Saturday?
No, Cam, I missed it because he fought on February 19th on Saturday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Champions, like superstar fighters, they don't fight like that.
Here we go. Well, he was fighting on the same card with Better Be
on Saturday at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay,
that's right. The Turk, His Excellency called him over. His Excellency called him over to Saudi. Yes, and yes, I'll fight at 12:30. 12:30 for 12 million. Yeah, I'll be there.
Sure.
Count me in.
Okay, well, now you're in his pocketbooks. You're asking me why I didn't watch it. And it's because it was on 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
And that's what I'm saying. What were you doing? What were you doing at that time?
Against somebody that I never heard of. The Curse is not someone that I'm not going to be like, ooh, surfing the net, hoping that there's a Shakur Stevenson fight on. No, not even close.
You don't have to surf the net. He fought at a specific time. Everybody knew the fight card.
Not enough of a draw for me to be paying that type of attention on Saturday. I had plenty of other things to do that were.
And you haven't mentioned one yet. I'm asking you, what were you doing on Saturday? Were you clipping the dog's toenails? I mean, did you have to vacuum the trunk out? What did you have to do?
I mean, if so, those two things probably would have a bit more of a priority than watching Shakur Stevenson fight Dave Nelson down at
They were in Saudi Arabia.
sorry,
So
Saudi Arabia. So I'm pretty sure did he win every round or like 10-2?
no, it didn't. He didn't win it. It didn't go 10. It didn't go 12 rounds. Excuse me. It was stopped in the ninth. TKO in the ninth.
Ooh, knocked it nice.
Okay, they stopped it. He didn't knock him out. It was a TKO. All right, they stopped it. They didn't want no more. They wanted the man taking no more damage.
Wow, jeez, wow. That sounds kind of like disproportionate.
Are you interested, or will you watch Tank Davis this weekend?
Was he fighting?
Lamont Roach.
No.
You're not interested in seeing Tank Davis fight?
Lamont Roach? No, I'm not.
Look, how can you? Are you interested to watch the Seahawks play the Cardinals?
Yeah, they only play 16, 17 games in the season. Every game is critical.
I mean, do you want to see him play these guys only have a career that they fight 40 times.
He's fighting Lamont Roach.
Okay. Every boxer has a boxer chance. Have you seen the movie Rocky? Are you familiar with Rocky? Are you familiar with any of the Rocky series?
All 17 of them, yes.
Okay, so that means Rocky, coming from nowhere, has a chance to become the world champion. This can happen at any moment in boxing, Cleveland. So these moments that you decide you're going to go wash your hair.
They actually don't allow that to happen. And once a fighter gets to a certain level, he understands that. And so if anything ever gets kind of funny, he just holds and pushes and runs and waits for the cards and the promoter to fix this. Hey, man, that guy's a little tougher than you said he was going to be, man.
He's tougher than he said he was going to be.
Yeah. I mean, I lose, but damn, that dude hit kind of hard. I had to hold him a couple of times.
Shame on you, man. So Junto Nagatani, he fights on the 24th because that's not a Friday. Excuse me, he fights on Sunday because that's not a Friday afternoon. You're not interested in fighting him, seeing that fight, Japanese fighter.
Clearly not a serious fight. Why would they be fighting on Sunday afternoon?
Because it's in Japan. That's what time it has to be here.
That way.
Oh my goodness! I don't know what I'm gonna do with you.
Fighters fight in Vegas. Just a heads up. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. So you clearly don't know what's going on with His Excellency in Turkey. His Excellency Turkey, because he's trying to take the best fights to Saudi Arabia, which he's been doing.
He takes some of them until they get to be too big, and then he has to leave them in the United States.
Were you feeling the Four Seasons hockey tournament? Did you watch that game?
I was feeling the intensity between those guys. I mean, I'm not the biggest.
Wait. Now you want to feel intensity? Now you want to feel some competition in an exhibition? Oh, interesting.
Well, you saw.
Tell me more.
You saw some players. Well, first of all, you saw some players get hurt. So I'm sure the owners of the franchises were not particularly happy about that outcome because it affects, playoff. It has playoff implications. But as far as how seriously they took it, and Canada, USA, Finland, and Sweden, yeah, it's cool.
I still don't think the NBA. Did you hear PK Subban blasting the NBA, talking about why that Olympics format why that format came off so good? Did you hear PK?
I sure did. I heard it. I heard every word. And hey, man, PK, the NBA All-Star Weekend is a party, my dude. Make no mistake about it. We're not here to fight and stuff and get all intense. I mean, USA and Canada started fighting 2 seconds into the game.
Yeah.
No, that's not happening. That's not happening All-Star Weekend.
What do you think, Cleveland? For a couple questions. NBA versus the world, we kind of touched on it earlier. That's what kind of a lot of people want to see. There was some talk earlier in the year about NBA allowing bringing fighting back in the game. Would that be a good thing for the NBA to allow some fisticuffs to go down every now and then?
No, they've gone too many years with too many soft players. It would be too much of a
Ooh, players couldn't handle it today, huh?
no.
So no little pushing and shoving, huh? Players take one punch and they be out for weeks. I mean, but you'd obviously have to change your lineup now. I mean, you have to bring the Rick Mahorns, the Lonnie Sheltons. You have to bring those guys a little heavy in the. You have to bring some enforcers back in the game.
Take the cuffs off of Haslam. Yeah, it'd be a different game. Let Draymond go full Draymond. Yeah, that'd be a different game.
Ooh, would that be a better game?
I think it's too late. I think it's too far gone, and kids don't play that way anymore. So, where do you start?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to start in middle school, but I mean, if you get a little chesty, a little more physical contact in college basketball, maybe that'll do something, toughen them up a little bit. Now, what was old boy from North Carolina State, the center? Maybe he'd actually have a career. The big dude. You remember who I'm talking about? Big dude in the tournament who went crazy for about 3 weeks. Now he might have a spot in there.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, but he wasn't a tough guy either. He was just kind of a big dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But you're going to you have to start with the guys who are big guys.
Yeah, like, but he was a big softy, right?
I mean, probably so because they weren't getting physical.
I mean, I think Jay Crowder is like a cat like Jay Crowder, right? Like you start talking about him on social media, it's like, hey man, you cut that out. You know exactly where I live. I'll be here at 4:00. See you then. And no more social media talk about it. That's like an enforcer, right? They don't have those in the NBA anymore. You see when somebody gets fouled too hard, they like what? They stand up and they posture and go, you hit me hard.
Hey man, but that might be what the NBA needs.
To do what? Create more intensity? They're too soft.
So Ovechkin is DJ Burns. Yeah, there you go. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, good looking.
He might actually have a role in the NBA.
Okay.
I mean, come somebody home.
Yeah.
Alexander Ovechkin, 13 goals away from tying Gretzky's all-time. Has this got enough publicity, Cleveland? Because Gretzky's like, whoa. I mean, Gretzky in the hockey world, Gretzky is like, whoa. You mentioned a Gretzky record, or you mentioned a record. You assume Gretzky has it, but then you assume that it's way out of the realm of being caught, right?
I don't remember how many more years Ovechkin has played and how many more games, but it's quite a large amount. So no, the impact is not nearly as great as Wayne Gretzky.
Once he gets his record, though, once Ovechkin gets a record, he's tied as of a couple of days ago with Jaromir Jagr with the all-time game-winning goals at 145. I think Gretzky has 70-something. Like that was staggering. Yeah, I didn't even. That's what I'm saying. That's kind of my question. My point is, we just assumed Gretzky had these numbers way out of reach, and here we go. Ovi is about to get his all-time goal record, which is bananas if you think about it. At least for me, because I just, again, anything he did, I'm not like I'm following it, but you hear Gretzky, you think automatically that best in the game, right? And he has all the records. But now this is one record that's about to fall. It's an all-time goals record, which is all we knew, Cleveland, for our lifetime was that record was so far out of reach. But I don't watch hockey like that. Maybe that'll change here. I got to get down with the Kraken. But until then, I'm just that I think that kind of went under the radar. I think that went under the radar, Cleveland. And something that hasn't gone under the radar, Cleveland, is Diana Taurasi calls it quits. Um, she's retiring from the WNBA. Where does she rank, Cleveland, amongst WNBA players to you, or women's basketball players? Let's say that because WNBA hadn't been around for all the women's basketball. Boo says they played 20 years each. Um, Gretzky and Ovechkin.
Interesting. I thought the distance was quite more disproportionate, but they played the same amount of time. Be the record a little bit more of a, credence for him breaking it. But as far as Diana Taurasi, I don't think there's any question she's the greatest women's player of all time.
She's the greatest women's player of all time. 11-time All-Star, 3-time WNBA champ, 5-time scoring champ, 2 Finals MVPs, 14-time All WNBA, 2004 Rookie of the Year, 2009 MVP. So she only won 1 MVP. There's no question, Cleveland, she's the best to do it ever.
So sorry, you forgot to mention the 6-time Olympic gold medalist, the 3-time national champion, the 3-time World Cup champion, and I didn't even mention the 7 Russian titles. So yeah,
the 7 what?
Russian titles.
Russian title? What are you talking about? For Diana Taurasi?
Over in Russia. Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. The Russian title. I apologize. There's no Candace Parker. Nobody raises a flame to Diana Taurasi. Well, a lot of people respect her game. I don't know. I can't. I'm not in a position I can call her the best ever. Like, I can't call her. But Cleveland says it with confidence. I mean, what did she win? 4 titles at college at UConn?
3.
What you guys think, fans? What you guys think? Diana Taurasi, is she the best ever, fans? I need your feedback on that. I can't even debate Cleveland. I just know she's well decorated, highly decorated. She's got to be one of the most decorated female hoopers of all time. But the best ever? I can't go there, Cleveland. I can't go there. What's up with the Mariners? Before we get to the Mariners, I want to ask you about the Mariners. But what do you think about the Yankees pulling back the rule allowing facial hair? Does that matter? Is that a thing?
2025, it kind of time to get with the times, man. Yeah.
Okay.
Good for you for getting to 21st century and all.
I don't understand why it was just a tradition that they just stuck with for a long time. What's going on with the Mariners down there in Arizona? You hear any good news? Brought any pitchers in? Brought any hitters in this season?
Don't need any pitching. Thanks for asking. But no significant hitters. No.
No young guys. No young guys to look forward to.
Nope.
No Julio Rodriguez too.
Nope.
No Carlos Hernandez, or he didn't have no cousins that played with him. Julio
Hernandez.
I'm saying there's no unknown, no name player that we haven't thought of swinging the bat down there.
Oh yeah, no.
I mean, don't you bring up your farm team players and give them a chance?
Sure do. It's been 6, spring training games, and so far nobody has, moved the needle.
So you looking forward to another 500 season from him?
probably somewhere in there, 85 and 77.
Isn't that demoralizing? Before the season starts, you have to say, hopefully we go 500.
No, I said 85 and 77. So that's
Oh,
better
excuse
than
me.
500.
Oh, that's 53% winning percentage.
Yeah.
Isn't that demoralizing though?
It's disappointing when you have the pitching staff that is capable of doing so much more if they had a little bit more offense. But unfortunately, ownership is, cash strapped and doesn't have the means to go out and get marquee players. So,
Man, that has to be. I'll tell you what. If I was a fan for the Mariners, I might protest. I might go down there and picket in front of in the Soto district if I had the energy for the bums. Um, what Metro game is gonna be played there first? Is it Blanchette Garfield, Franklin Garfield, Rainier Beach Garfield? What?
it's always got to be, Franklin Garfield. It's always got to be that.
Well, maybe that'll draw some fans, get fans to see some decent baseball before the future Mariners get on the field. What you think?
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, put that together. That'd be great.
Cleveland, anything we missed this week, man?
I don't think so. I think we covered most of the major topics in the sports world.
Well, that being the case, Cleveland, I want to end the show with a quote. This quote is meant for you guys to inspire you guys and give you confidence to make it through the rest of the week. Cleveland, the quote is, "I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Mr. Thomas A. Edison. I think the moral of this one here is you don't fail, you just keep trying new stuff, man. Seeing what sticks, and don't be afraid to be innovative in anything you do, guys. Don't be afraid to be innovative. Don't be afraid to be a game changer. Do your thing and change the game. It might inspire or motivate others to do the same on your group and your team or what have you. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to the Voice of the Fans podcast. This has been week 329 of this iteration of the Voice of the Fans podcast. We'll see you next week at 3:30, Cleveland. As always, fans, I want to thank you guys for making our voice your choice. Talk to you next week.